Leviticus 15, day 15, January Prayer and Fasting, Leviticus 15 summary. Now this one is interesting about impurity laws of the bodily discharges. Now remember, it's like these were normal discharges, normal things to come out of people, but it's showing a powerful message to them that even though these were natural things are not necessarily pure. It was a message to them that all their bodily fluids and procreation systems are still now underneath the curse of the law, so it still needs atonement for and things like that. So it was speaking of things for happened to men, things that happened to women, and the fact that they were unclean. For this uncleanliness, it wouldn't be the priests to say they're unclean. They would have to know they're unclean for themselves. If there was bodily discharges and things like that, they have to be unclean for 7 days. Then on the 8th day and so on, they'll do what they need to do, burnt offerings and sacrifices and stuff like that. Also the message of making them understand that inherently in them, there's something linked with their sexuality and things that are making them impure in a sense. I had that kind of message to keep them away from the other pagan people that were linking sexuality to worship and stuff like that. So it was making them separate from the surrounding nations, to not just think you can do what you want, that all these things are representing God. So you have to realize that you're unclean. So it will stop them from just having some lustful desires and stuff like that, to be different from the other neighbors and pagans around them. Also spoke of defiling the tabernacle, because other religions, they were just doing certain worship in the tabernacle, thinking that's the way to get to God. But God wanted them to know these Israelites are not meant to worship God with sexual ways like these other nations were doing. And then the other things, it speaks to us from his body. So it talks about all these things in a not a crude way, but not in an inappropriate way. So we also had the general themes we had here was general principle regarding abnormal bodily discharge, the spread of the uncleanliness of an abnormal bodily discharge, contact with the clean. So yeah, this was a powerful part, because here, anyone that you contact or you touched the object and you were unclean, then you made it unclean. Whereas Jesus came and did the opposite. Jesus was clean, and anyone unclean he touched and washed, they became clean while he stayed clean. So that's the difference that Jesus came and done. And then it said, we showed about the separation. This law separated them away from the other pagans and stuff. Then what else we know? None of these discharges made a man or woman sinful, only ceremonially unclean. So it's not that they were sinful and these were bad things. It's just it was an unclean thing. So again, to speak about the nature, speak about the fact that it's connected with because blood and semen is connected to redemption and life. So there's something broken, inherently impure in us, even in what comes to us normally. So it doesn't mean because things are natural that it's pure. So we have a tendency to think that, but it's an interesting little laws in chapter 15.